Plaintiff Martin Cross met the defendant in college, and they eventually became roommates. Martin claims while living together, the defendant often brought shady characters around, including his girlfriend, who was addicted to meth. He's suing his former roommate for unpaid rent. Defendant Jason Hepner says Martin is a menace to society who drank 6 days a week and constantly got into mischief. Jason insists he had an agreement with the landlord to do home repairs in exchange for rent, but the landlord breached their agreement.
Start with you.
All right, well, initially, I never knew moving in with Jason that I would be involved in as far as some of his meth addict girlfriends, drug dealing, some of the shady people.
Who sold drugs, him?
No, the people that he brought around, mainly, more or less local people that lived in the Big Rapids area, which is northwestern Michigan is where I went to school with him, and Ferris State University is where we had met. A year later, I needed a roommate, he needed a place, so I decided what better way we combined, we get our place.
That was before you knew about the meth addicts.
Yeah, I didn't really know him that well. I knew him for about a year at the time, so I guess I didn't really gauge his character as much as I probably should have.
That's tough, folks, and particularly in college, choosing roommates, because you just never know. That's the risk you take when you go to college. In many instances, folks don't know each other, and they take that risk that your roommate might be a dope fiend or his girlfriend. You say his girlfriend was the dope fiend, right?
The people that brought around were just overall just kind of shady people.
She was a dope fiend and all her friends.
Yep.
It makes sense. Dope fiend usually have dope fiend friends.
Normally. Not the most responsible.
All right, okay. He doesn't take a hit every now and then, did he?
Not from my knowledge, but you know, behind closed doors, I guess who knows?
Good. All right, he just sit back and read the Bible while everybody else is getting high. That doesn't sound right, sir. You may not have seen him. Let me hear from you. Give me some background. He's saying terrible things about you.
Your Honor, this creature is a menace to society.
How so?
When I lived with him, I could not anticipate someone conducting themselves in the way he did.
What was he
drank like
doing?
6, 7 days a week, constantly getting into mischief, destroying everything in his path. He would light dumpsters and garbage cans on fire. He tried to knock down our house with a sledgehammer by taking out the only support beams in the basement. He bit my girlfriend's goldfish in half. Just things you can't...
They were smoking together that night. Go ahead.
Thought it was sushi.
He thought it was sushi? Well, tell me about these lies he's telling on your girlfriend. That's horrible.
I don't know that any girls that I've seen smoked meth.
So they're not lies. Somebody he don't know.
Right.
Go ahead.
I'm
You're
quite
supposed to say that affirmatively. No.
I mean, he's trying to make me look like the bad guy in this situation, and I was the one that constantly had to keep him in line. He would try to start fights with random people that I would have to intervene. I feel like he should be thanking me because without me, he would most definitely be in jail. Bad things would be in his future if it was not for me.
If I just had to choose who looked the cleanest, demeanor, looks around the eyes, and everything else, sir, I would choose him. I gotta tell you. So I think we better leave this alone and get on to the rent.
Plaintiff Martin Cross says after he rented an apartment with the defendant, he would constantly bring his meth-addicted girlfriend into their home.
Tell me what's going on.
Well, initially, I got student loans to pay for my semester rent, so I'd pay a semester at a time. I had paid up until May of 2009.
Starting when, though?
August 2008 is when we signed our lease. We were leased for 12 months. I only paid till the summer because I was under the impression I would have a subleaser. At that time, I was under the impression also that Jason was paying his rent or had some kind of agreement worked out with their landlord to get his rent covered.
Where'd you get that impression?
Well, he told me that him and the landlord had been talking about doing some sort of repair work or something in exchange for rent. And he said he was paying his rent, which obviously was lies at the time. So I was under the impression everything was good.
Gotcha.
And because the landlord never had contacted me about...
And what happened in March of '09?
Well, I actually got a knock at the door and he was like, you've been served, and just walked away, which was obviously a surprise to me at the time. And I showed that we owed $2,666.
You see it?
Yeah.
And that was over the course of the entire 9 months?
Yeah, that was all his back rent that he was responsible for.
What do you mean all of his back rent? Did you pay your half?
Yes, I did. I have receipts here.
You have evidence that you paid your half? All right. Let's hear from you, sir.
Me? Our house.
Yeah, you.
Our house was in pretty deplorable condition when we moved in. I talked to the landlord about fixing up the house, and we made an agreement where I would work for him, fix up our house as well as other houses if he needed me to, in exchange for paying off my rent. I had fixed up houses. I had taken initiative to fix anything in our house that I could fix, holes in the walls, electrical sockets, just simple things like that. And we ended up having a party that landlord was not very happy about, and he came over and, because we were somewhat on a personal level, and we had some words about having a party at our house. When he left, I assumed we were on good terms still. I mean, we had talked about the incidents that happened, and I didn't speak with him for about a month, month and a half, and that's when I found out we were getting evicted as well, or at least taken to court for it.
So your defense is the landlord got mad with you and breached the agreement that the two of you had, and instead of giving you credit for repairing the house, he sued you and said, you owe me rent.
Correct.
All right, and he was sued for both his rent and your rent. They sued jointly and severally, meaning they sued both parties. He has evidence that he paid his half, though. You say your half should have been deducted from the rent based on the agreement you had. And you say the landlord broke that agreement. When someone breaks an agreement, you have to sue them. You say, landlord, you got mad about this party. That's why you won't give me the... That's between you and the landlord. In the meantime, you have to pay him because he has been adjudged as owing your portion. So I'm going to grant him the monies that he paid or will have to pay on your behalf. Judgment for the plaintiff 2666. He got the sign of the beast. 666. That's what the Bible says, right? Have a good day. Judgment for the plaintiff.
Calm down a little bit. I mean, I would like to be friends.
Yeah, I guess I was a little crazy. I can anticipate that much, so.
I think we were both a little crazy and negative to each other's health.
Negative connotation with each other, so. I'm just kind of glad things were resolved more or less and put this all behind us.
If you can relate to any of our cases today, visit my website, askjudgemathis.com, and let me know your question.